me ask Ruth, since what we're talking about here is, partly is where people get their facts. And that's sort of a big part of this whole project, to sort of understand, because there do seem to be these parallel news universes that people are living in. So can you reflect at all on, remember, where you got your information, or why you do feel that Obama, was working with the Islamists on these issues?
There were news articles on different TV stations, we're talking years ago, about pallets of money that were going to Arab countries. Even without that, I think just looking at the facts, Obama really expected, by his own words, Israel to roll over. Obama did not do anything to move along a peace process. Obama did not do anything to attempt to stop terrorism. Whereas, Trump, as ugly as his words may be, has cut off funding to people that live, thinking that terrorism is the way to go. He has had Nikki Haley, and I'm blanking on her replacement, but women who are not afraid to stand up and speak against Arab countries. The UN Watch, that's just video. It's not even about what TV channel you're watching. You're watching actual footage from the UN where people are able to stand up to all these Arab countries accusing Israel of ridiculous war crimes that don't exist.
Can I interrupt for 1 second?
Yeah.
There is a difference between terrorism and Arab countries. The friend of President Trump and his administration is Saudi Arabia, the epicenter for terrorism. When you talk about Arab countries, Turkey, Obama built good relationship with Turkey, and Trump just did their bidding by selling out and virtually killing the Kurds. Israel can't exist without the Kurds. They are the fiercest fighters and the most countable group when it comes to Israel wars. And this administration, who says, I'm the best friend of Israel, Israel always calls the incumbent president the best friend of Israel, turned back on the Kurds and instead is sending troops to Saudi Arabia. I've spent time in Saudi Arabia. It is not a pretty picture. They are the epicenter of terrorism.
I just, I don't think that there is truth or honesty, quite frankly, in any politics. And I think that any politician that you go and fact check, there are lies coming out of every politician's mouth, and I don't think that's going to change. So I don't know. There isn't honesty in politics, and I'll be shocked that there is.
So I think that all politicians try very hard to shine the best light on their positions, what they're doing, etc. But there are two ways lights get shown on people. One is out of admiration and trust that they're being strategic and asking the experts for help. And the other way that light shines on them is that they cast shadows on everyone else. And that is what I believe marks the difference between most politicians and President Trump. He is famous for shining shadows on everyone. He called Adam Schiff deranged. He calls Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas. God only knows what he's going to say when he realizes that all the attorneys in the impeachment drama are Jews. Yeah. I'm waiting to see what he says about that.
So Ruth, how do you feel about, he calls people these names. I mean, whether or not you support him or not, does that, that's the whole name calling thing, that we tell our kids you shouldn't call people names. How do you explain that to your kids? Do you try to shield them from it?
I don't really try to shield them from anything. I work very hard to not put thoughts in my kids' heads. So my kids will ask me questions and I say, well, you got to look it up and you'll find different opinions and you listen to them all and then you figure out what it is that works for you. I don't think it's my place as a parent to raise my child a Democrat or a Republican. And I'm not completely sure that I'm still a complete Democrat or a Republican. I'm very liberal, to say the least. So
you're very liberal on social issues.
I'm very liberal on certain issues. Yes. So I don't think, I mean, you know, I get people, I'm incredibly pro-abortion. And I get people who say to me, you can't possibly be a Republican. Yeah, yes, I can. And I can vote along those party lines when I need to. But for me, there is no one party where you everything on everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the same goes true for the president. He acts like an idiot, calling people names. Sorry, I just did the same thing. I'm calling the kettle, you know, the pot calling the kettle black. It's totally not okay. And it's not okay for somebody of his stature and of his standing in the world to use such words. I also think that in the long run, and when you compare words to actions, I'll take his actions any day and just ignore his words.